Guys, welcome to my first ever video of fishing the Barble River. The River Severn in Bridgnorth on the stretch. We're fishing underneath the bypass today. This is my first ever time fishing on my own for Barble. Anyways, let's hope we get some good ones. Okay guys, so we've made it to this spot. This spot is quite famous for Barble as it's literally only down the road from Barble Alley, and this spot leads up to Barble Alley. So hopefully we'll get some big ones. I'll see you back when I've got set up. So the plan of attack today is going to use a closed feeder because I'd lost my cage feeder the last time I'd fished this spot. So I'm going to use a cage feeder, but I'm going to leave it half open. So hopefully all that ground bait will just leak all around the Barble swat, which will be my hook bait. And I'll show you that in a second. Okay guys, feeder set up, bait ready. All I need to do is cast in now and put a pellet on the hook. So today we'll be using Robin Red Krill. These are really good, they've never done me wrong. I don't think I've blanked using these yet on big lakes or anything. So I'm going to try these now, hopefully they work today. They're only 8mm in size, so it's perfect for the Barble. So let's get that on. Okay guys, so the pellet is now on. All I need to do is cast out. In the rivers, I don't really cast out too far, because there's not really a need to where I fish, because it's decently deep. But just anything between the middle and the far bank, really. So if I just give that a little stroke. Fuck. So yeah, not really a clue what happened there, but you know, get another pellet out and put this on. Then guys, let's go again. I mean, there's quite a few people playing music today, which is like, I don't really like, because I do love a peaceful session on the river, but it is what it is. Right, so let's cast it again, hopefully a little bit further this time. There we go, loads better. Okay, just wait for that to fall downstream. There we go. Put my drag on. A bait runner. Put it in my rod pod. Oh shit, which we can't do because my rod pod's not going in. So we're going to go a bit closer. Let's go for about here. No, there we go, that's loads better, man. Okay. Wow, these rod pods really do my head in. Oh, just put two big rocks around it. There we go. Setup's on, lads, and I just need to wait for the bite. I mean, hopefully it shouldn't be too long, because I don't think anyone's fished this stretch of it, which is other than us, and we fed it loads yesterday, so hopefully it won't be too long to get a bite, but I'll call in once I've had a few knocks and stuff. Yeah, really annoying thing today is I don't have anything to sit on, and I would put my mat down and sit on that, but the rocks in this place is ridiculous, so there isn't no way I'm sitting down this, so I might as well just stand. Because I did try and sit in my landing mat last session and that did not go very well. But hopefully it doesn't take too long to get a bite. And we're already getting a few knocks, but there's, once again, loads and loads of silvers in this river. And small things like chub. It would be nice to catch a chub today, I reckon. So I'm going to put on my polarised glasses and just see if I can scout out anything. From here I can't really see, but every time I do normally come in there is loads of bubbles just in that far bank, my cast is just in front of that, so hopefully they've noticed that there's bait feeding in and we get a bite soon enough. See it on the river, I normally recast say every half an hour or so, because these fish, once again, they're always on the move. They're always going downstream, upstream. If you just find that one spot and you keep casting to that and casting to that. But if you haven't caught, just every half an hour recast, because I've got the whole swim here. So like the one that I've got is down like there near the trees. I could have a bit further down by that bay there. I could have just one in front of there, or I just could move up and go into that calm. But once again, barbel are very strong fighting fish, and barbel alley flows from there into this bit. So hopefully, if some fish that are looking for some calm, I've just had a knock on that rod. Can come here and will catch one. But once again, this spot is very famous. There's loads of videos of it in Bridgnorth, just under the bypass bridge over there. Really, really good spot. If you want like a couple of hours, you can come here, you will catch. My last session, we all had 5 altogether and lost one in just 2 hours, and that was in the evening. And we are coming up to the evening now. It's around 7 o'clock by the time I'm recording this, so hopefully not long and they'll be feeding, hopefully. But another good thing is that like you have a really high chance of catching barbel, because once again they live in the river. Like they don't really have loads to feed on, and if they come across your bait, it's almost guaranteed they will take it. It's not like a carp lake and like they've got feeding all over the place, leftover bait that people have chucked in. On the rivers it's all just you place your bait and that's the only bait in the stretch. I think that's one thing I really like about river fishing. I might only give it like 15 minutes because I might be snagged, because my rod is bobbing quite a bit. I don't know if it's stuck on a rock or something, but hopefully that resolves itself soon. Yeah guys, once again, rivers are full of absolutely everything. You can come here like on corn or anything and catch absolutely everything, because like a load of the famous UK species are in here. But on my next cast I might put one of these big fish garlic cookers on. They absolutely stink, and they are very, very soluble in the water, so they leak loads and loads, and which is why in my ground bait mix just here I've put loads and loads of cinnamon in it. And what the cinnamon does, it just creates that cloud in the water, and a load of chili flakes and chili stuff, just a load of spices really, and just hoping it forms a cloud in the water. It's really good if you can get it to the right consistency. Put oats in there as well, just to thicken that up a bit so it doesn't spread out or go too far down the riverbank whilst I'm fishing. So that's the setup today, guys. The only problem I really struggle with is these guys on the river. You cannot leave a bucket out of bait, or else I'll just take it. But I will just, chuck a few over there just to keep them in. Distracted, and try to keep them off that far bank as possible. Like barbel have really sensitive fins, so anything they can feel in the water, they can feel it. They're like pike. They're a bit like pike. Any vibration in the water they can feel, and it does spook them. So I'm just trying to keep them away from that far bank by just throwing a little particle in. But once again, I think barbel are definitely one of the best fish to catch, as they do not hesitate like the carp. The carp are really intelligent, but the barbel, they see food, because they live in the rivers, they will take it. Not like, they don't really care about the matter or what it is, they will take it if they see it, which is another reason why I really like barbel fishing. Like the takes and the fights are phenomenal, especially because it's on the river. Just so many strong fish about, it's unreal. I mean, like the last barbel I caught here, I really thought I was snagged until the line started moving, because like it was only like that big as well. It was only about 5 or 6 pounds, and they just fight so hard. It's unbelievable, and hopefully we'll get a good fight in this video if the rod does decide to go off. But I would really like to fish with 2 rods, but once again, if I get a double take on my own, I'm genuinely cooked, especially on the river, because how hard fighting the barbel are. I don't think my bait runner will be able to withstand that. And we are just getting a few twitches and tugs on that rod every so often. so I might give it a strike. Ah, nah, nothing, guys. But once again, it's always worth giving it a strike on the first few casts. You never really know what that bobble is. It could be a fish on the hook bait, it could be a fish on the feeder. So always strike at your bites on the river, because you never know what you can catch in here. It's a good job I didn't have a fish on because my reel is quite loose. There we go, that's loads better. Anyway guys, let's get this rod back out. So what I do here with the feeder is I just pop it in that bucket, look. Pop the feeder in the bucket, lay the rod down, and with the feeder, so all I do is just grab the particle, push it in the feeder as much as I can, squish it down with your finger so it stays nice and hard and compact in there, get even more bait out, and just keep doing the same thing until it reaches a brim to the top, because you don't want it fully to the top, else it will leak too much. Well, for me even, because I'm using a closed feeder, because obviously mine got snagged. But also you've got to be careful of these little knots as well, because they can make a huge difference to the fish, as they can feel resistance. So that's why I'm using the running rig today. So anyways, let's hopefully get some fish. I'll just recast it out again. What I also like to do in the river is that sometimes I do miss casts, as I just done. But once again, this is really good in a way, because like you are feeding loads of different spots, which is really good because it keeps all the barbel interested and entertained, which is like solid PVA bag fishing, you could say so. But another thing, you've got to be really careful of these shots moving up in the line, because like when you're river fishing, you want at least a metre off so the fish can't feel any resistance, because once again these fish are very resistant feeling. So you always want your rig about a metre away from the feeder, and this is where I've had my most chances from, but I have lost my krill in that cast, so I'm going to have to put another one on. Okay guys, pellet back on and ground bait back in. I only had to fill it halfway up because luckily there was already enough ground bait in there. But anyways, let's get this rod back out. Once again, I'm hoping for that back end of spot, but my casting is quite wary on the river because I'm very scared of losing it to the back of them trees. But I'll just whip it out, stop the line there. It's perfect, exactly where I wanted it. But another thing that you should also, guys, try using is like a line clip. That's just the rod setting. It should set now. Okay, so rod's set now, guys. But yeah, the line clip you cast, let your line go slack, put it on the clip, and then once it's on the clip, you keep recasting. You cast the same spot, but I don't really like using them on rivers, especially barbel, because if it gets wrapped on the clip whilst fighting one, you will know and you will get snapped. But once again, in the river, you want to cast a different furtherness, different depths. You want to cast everywhere really in the river. But I will leave this one in for quite a bit now. I would say until about 8, if I get any bites or anything, which hopefully I do. But what I use for getting my bands on, this is a really great tool to have. This is it's like a Westlake band opener. I suppose it doesn't really matter about the brand because they all do the same stuff realistically, little tackle like this. But this just, you imagine the band there, opens the band, pull it on, let go. It's simple as that. It's really easy and simple, but I have got my Crocs on today in this part of the river because it is very rocky. This part is, because it's really rocky, it's really deep. Round the back are extremely deep. So I've brought my Crocs on to ensure the fish goes back safely and it doesn't get injured by the rocks whilst releasing or anything. Which once again you should. Oh, another knock on the rod. I don't know if you guys seen that, but I was quite heavy knock this time. But once again, it did look like a liner, but I'm not really 100% sure on what a river liner and the difference between a river liner and a carp liner at the minute. Because once again, yeah, I've got the current in here. That rod is knocking quite a bit. I'm not sure if that's because of the wind flopping down the current or anything. But hopefully that should rip off in about 5 minutes or so, guys. Well, I hope so, at least. Let's hope for the best, fingers crossed. Once again, wherever you're fishing, fish safety should be a number one priority. Like, even if it's a small fish, a decent sized net, to ensure that all of its fins are safe. Rolling it on the correct position before you put it on the landing mat, of course. And always wet your landing mats. I've seen so many people not wet their landing mats, and the carp scales get absolutely ruined, especially in this heat. So always make sure you wet your landing mats. I will show a quick example on what I do take in my river bag. Obviously I have spare feeders, hooks, bands. Bands are a main thing, especially on the river because they are very, very delicate. A drink is always wafters, just hook length, lead stops, just any little things. If I want to change the tactics up I can. Just finding the right method and hoping that whatever method you're using does get a bite. I've seen people just using weights and that's a bite, that is. Once again, I've seen just people using weights and packing them with ground bait, and that's gone surprisingly well on the rivers because all the bait just flows downstream. But hopefully not too long, then we will be in now. Once again, guys, if I did have two rods, I don't realistically know where I would place it, because if I fish in the middle, like which is where I cast it to, just in that bay there, a bit more to the left actually, and like if I had one to the left, it's like too shallow so they won't even recognise it, and to the right, also really shallow down there. I really don't see any fish going down there. I do just see them just sitting in this bay. They do want to break or up there. That's the wind. Oh, I need to sort that rod put out bad, quick. I need down now, to be fair, it wasn't as bad as I thought once I'd moved all my stuff, but oh my god, those ducks are so annoying. Oi! Oi! Well, another thing that's really good you can do is if you can just get a rock and chuck it downstream, and they will chase that rock because they do think it's bait, but obviously it's not. I'm just chucking rocks further and further away. As you can see, they are very distracted by this. If I just keep chucking them downstream, hopefully they will just go away. I'll always be careful to not hit them, obviously. Just hitting a duck, it's not the first thing you want to do. But as you can see, look, I've just took that one as far as I can, and I've gone now completely away from my bait, which is really, really good. But the further you can get on, the better it is. Right, guys, look at that. I don't know if you can see, there's just a ladybug crawling up my rod, which is hopefully good luck. Well, I hope so, at least. So guys, the hardest part about fishing in a rock bay is the rod pod situation. As like, so much rocks about, it's really hard to find a good spot. If you're in, you might as well just leave it. If it's good or not, if it's in, it's in. But what a view this is. You see the church in the background over there. Really nice. Really, really nice night tonight. One thing I do like to do, passing the time, is I do keep mixing my ground bait and whatever in the bucket. I'm just going to add some normal, I think they're 2mm pellets now. Just like, not too much, just to get a bit of a switch up, you know. As you can see, not too much in there, just give it a bit of a mix. And I think I will add a bit more water to this, but what I can do, I cannot be bothered to stand up, I'm just going to reel the net in, to be honest. Once that's up, just use that water in the net, just let it soak all over them pellets, just like as so. These pellets are definitely softening up, but unfortunately the net did not do that, so I'm just going to really just hand fill them myself. Just only need a little bit of water, I'd say. About that much. Just give them a bit of a mix. When mixing them, just give them a shake, drain any other bit of the water out. And look at that. So this is a cloud now that the bait would form in the water. As you can see, it's a very bright orange, which is really what we want. As barbel, I really like barbel, really into spicy stuff. And just look at that. Just anything you can squeeze in and it'll crumble if you just drop it. And that is the mix, guys. Also, could also get even more bait out. Like I won't get wafters or anything out. To be fair, I have got these two. So these two I mainly use for carp fishing, but I might put one on my next cast. As you can see, these are just krill, they're really soft. See, look at that, they just form into a paste. I might just throw a couple of them in there, if I'm being honest. Throw a couple of these in. They are hook baits, but once again, they are old. And any old bait you should always take to the river, as it's not my main thing to do. But if it is your main thing to do, you can use your main baits, anything like that. But I think you should always take, because what is a disgorger. Barbels, fins are really bony, and if they do get sucked in, it's really, really hard to get them out, I must admit. But also another tip with these ducks going around is always shut up your bait, as if you do get a fish on, you're not getting those ducks away and landing the fish. It's quite annoying. But just make sure your pellet bags are shut. Any bait that you're taking is shut. As if I do have a fish, I do tend to put my bait box underneath my bag just there. So like that, nice and shut. Also, I have got Bandon wafters on, but once again, I don't think these are very good for the river. They smell really nice like banoffee, but with the combination I'm using the really meaty, fishy scent, and I think just something sweet would just throw them off the edge. If they get dedicated to feeding on that stuff, they would not want something sweet. But I also have got this, guys. I didn't know I had another one, but I might put this open feeder on, because once again it does pack in a bit more bait that I would like to, but once again you don't want to overfeed them. But it's just whatever happens really, guys. And yeah, that's all I took really. These red krills are absolutely mental. They are the #1 carp attractant, I reckon. They always go for them. Like, they're irresistible, the scent, mega strong. I've had these for years. Now you can get them pre-drilled or drilled, but I don't really like to use hair rigs on the river, as I think you don't really have I think you have a less chance, I believe, as like it doesn't really cover up the hook as much as the can feel the hook. And barbel, once again, really sensitive fish. But yeah, guys, I'm actually going to recast this rod, as I do believe it is a bit close in for my liking, so I do want to stick it at the far bank. So I'm just going to reel it in, a little strike, just in case anything's on, which it wasn't that time. Not a single pull, which means it weren't snagged, which is very good. But that bait was compacted so bad, so hopefully... Oh, and that's probably why, guys, because oh, that's so horrible, my split shot slipped. Okay, guys, rod's set back up. I have retightened the split shot's back in, so hopefully it doesn't do whatever it did again. But now, let's give it a little cast. I want to go a bit further this time, so I will give it a bit more of a whip. And look at that. Perfect, guys. put it down as quick as I can. Rear drag set. You can see the rod tip, look. And it is now set. So I am fishing a bit further out this time, and hopefully something comes my way.